Hey everyone, you're listening to Hocked Unloaded with writer-director Steve Drake and producer Rachel Franz. This is the podcast where we tell you about how we made our first feature film, Hocked. Each week, we'll bring on a new guest and they'll share their experience of what it was like making this film. In this episode of the podcast, we're hanging out with Rich Ledoux. He was one of the few actors that had at least a little bit of acting experience before we started filming. His dedication and performance was outstanding, and he ended up stealing the show and making Lanny Green the complicated character we all know and love. We hope you enjoy it.
Can we quadruple check? Is that recording?
It's recording.
Rachel, are we recording?
It is recording this time.
Why don't we talk a little bit about what may have happened
May or may
week?
not have not put a memory card in the Zoom last week? Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But I did technically hit record last week. I just didn't put anything for it to
Are we going to
record
address
to.
it?
We could. Rachel's going to edit it, so she'll cut it out if she doesn't want it anyway.
I maybe deserve a little bit of razzing for that.
Just a bit.
Well, I actually think it could be good because, we got into some really good stuff. But I think there may have been, there's always a little bit of a period in these podcasts where we're just kind of warming up. We don't really know. It doesn't get into a good flow anyway. So I think we'll just jump right into it.
All right. Yeah. Well, hey, Rich. Thanks for being here
Hey,
again.
It is an honor. I'm having some serious deja vu right now.
Weird. It's like you've been here before.
Yeah.
Let's talk Hocked.
Let's talk Hocked.
Let's load it up. It is an honor to be here, seriously. You're in the podcast biz now. Look at you.
Look at us.
The whiz kid. He does it all.
Yeah. We're not very good yet, but we're getting there.
I mean, it looks pretty technical.
It is. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot of putting
Rachel's
memory cards in Zooms.
Yeah, we don't get headsets. We don't have the budget yet. But we should. We should get some. So we look legit.
1/3 is pretty legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, this should be the first podcast too where we'll have full video over top, as well as some supporting images.
Nice.
So I think that's going to be a big improvement.
Sweet.
And so I'm happy that we get to unroll all that fancy stuff with you, Rich.
Yeah, me too. It was kind of weird coming in here, seeing my face everywhere. I'm sorry about that. I wouldn't want to be staring at my mug all day. You guys work like this?
Your
Honestly,
face is everywhere.
It's hawked and loaded in here.
Yeah.
I probably look at your face more than I look in the mirror.
I'm sorry about that.
It's really weird.
And it's my beat up grill too. It's not,
the druggy beat up.
Yeah.
Hey, somehow you still pull that off.
Oh,
so
nice.
Good for you.
The one weird thing, there's one movie poster on the wall. I don't have that one, but it's a piece of artwork where some of the characters are drawn, and I would say everyone looks like themselves. Maybe it's because I'm looking at myself, but that looks like me, except I have an enormous forehead.
I think it's the angle.
I'm not gonna go home and check my forehead.
I think everybody has a trouble looking at themselves in an
Yeah.
artist's rendering,
Right.
because I look at myself and I say, I kind of look like I'm in Dr. Seuss.
Steve looks like he's full of joy
I now see that.
in life.
Yeah.
He doesn't normally look like he's full of joy and
There's way
happiness.
too much joy
He looks
in
way
that
too
image.
happy.
You look like a Muppet there. You're right. It's weird that there's an acoustic guitar too.
And the acoustic guitar.
Interesting.
We shouldn't just
angle.
rip on this because she did a great job.
No, it really is amazing.
But I should have given more. I should have given a little more.
Honestly, she did it just based off of shitty stills we pulled from rough cuts.
That is
Yeah.
true.
So, and I just told her a guitar. I don't think I ever showed her the guitar.
Yeah. Well, there it is. I
It's
love it.
We would just say that
Thank
was
you,
the
Lorena.
first.
Lorena.
The first edition. We were gonna have this acoustic Mexican guitar. You never know. Well, I do want to say something.
Yeah.
I think of everybody that was involved in this movie, I think that there were a lot of amazing performances, but I can't say that there was somebody who didn't single-handedly take over my perspective of this whole movie and just enthrall me throughout the entire thing.
Wow.
More
really
than you
appreciate that.
as Lanny Green. So props to you.
Thank you very much.
You're the man.
And I do want to say, I want to say, I guess, publicly, thank you for the opportunity, because I know you pretty much took a chance on pretty much all the actors, right? We all came in with no experience, but with such an important role, taking a chance on me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah, it was, wow, amazing.
You blew us out of the water, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to go back and just talk about, some of the beginnings. I know, well, at least I'm pretty sure that I had you pegged as maybe a detective, possibly, in the beginning.
You recently told me that. I
Yeah.
had no idea. Okay.
Yeah, that was the first thing. It was like, okay, who do we know? We've got all these roles. Who do we know? And I think my dad brought you up, and he knows everybody. So he's like, well, we could get Rich, we could get Kevin, maybe Duncan, and maybe Brooke. All these guys that just kind of look goony, and we'll plug them in wherever we go. And then so initially I was thinking, okay, maybe it could be Kevin and Rich as these detectives, because I knew you guys knew each other, and there could be some sort of
Rapport.
already built-in rapport, which we were banking on big time.
Yeah.
But I think you were immediately just like, no, man. Let me talk about Lanny Green for a minute.
Yeah, I might have hijacked the role a little bit. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, at least I was in your dad's there big time. Once, even before I read the script, once I knew about Lanny that there was a guitar player, because I play the guitar, that was the initial draw, and then just the attic musician, the whole dark side of it. I immediately gravitated towards it, and I was like, no, dude. I was telling your dad, I need that role.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I was going to accept detective. It was
I'm
Lanny
glad-
or nothing.
Glad you didn't, because boy, Lanny's pretty sweet, and
Yeah.
I was pretty much hooked, and because we had done a table read, and you weren't able to make the first table read. I don't know what you were doing, but you were nice enough to send in a video of you reading some of Lanny's earlier scenes, and I remember listening and watching this short video that you had sent me, and I think it was just like a cell phone video, but it was you at a dining room table reading for Lanny Green, and it's a scene where you're given the gun, and I'm sure it's Lisa, right, who hands you this little like green or pink squirt gun, and it's just this comically small little squirt gun, and you just pick it up, and you weren't even fazed that it was a squirt gun. You weren't joking around.
That's all I had.
In your mind, that was like the Glock that we used in the movie, and you picked it up, and I was just like, okay, this dude can act.
Well, that surprises me because you had I couldn't make the audition, and you told me, well, can you at least read one of the scenes from the script and film it and send it to me? And I picked that one. That was me in the back of the squad car there, or the detective's car, the unmarked car, and me getting the gun, and literally I was thinking right at the moment, what am I going to do for the gun? What do we have? Looking around, found my little kid's squirt gun, and I was super nervous about it. I think we did it maybe 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was 3 times, and each time, and even on the third time, watching it back, I'm like, that's not going to get me the role. I was so hesitant to send it to you, and then I didn't hear back from you. And at the time, I didn't know you too well. Now that I do, it's very typical of you not to respond right away. But
oh my god!
Oh man, the longer I was waiting to hear from you, I'm like, I kept telling my wife, who is Lisa, you just mentioned, I kept saying, "There's no way I got it. That's it. I'm not in the movie. This sucks. This
Never
sucks."
ever let Steve's lack of ability to respond get you down. Most of the time, his own mother or girlfriend will call me and be like, hey,
See, I now know
where's
that.
Steve?
Yeah.
Although I don't encourage that behavior. I'm not his keeper.
It's genetic. It's not my fault.
Just, I think it's easier for people to ask me because I sit 6 feet away from him.
And I should have known better because, it is genetic. I've
Yeah,
been dealing with that with
my
your dad
mom,
forever.
it's the
Yeah.
same thing.
But those early crickets were.
Watch
Oh.
your shoe.
Those early
It's
crickets
squeaky.
were hurting me.
Yeah?
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
Rich. I'm glad you didn't go and take a different role because of my
We had to leave you
negligence.
wanting.
There it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Build up the anticipation.
But that's also typical of me to really beat myself up. That's why I'm also even more happy and honored to be here, because I now kind of have a second chance to really kind of open up about the role with the Q&A after the premiere.
Yeah.
I definitely kind of got in my head a little bit.
Yes,
and
I was saying your name wrong, so I'm so sorry.
Well, that's-
In the past episodes, I said Rich Ledoux. It is Rich Ledoux.
Can
My
Rich
bad.
Ledoux please come up to the stage? Our star actor.
Ledoux?
So-
Our star
Is that
actor,
French?
whose name I don't know, apparently. Apparently.
whose name I don't know. So yeah, my confidence level wasn't too strong going in, but no, that is typical of me.
I'm so sorry.
I'm my biggest hater for sure.
I don't know. This whole year, like, I don't even know Rich anymore. It's mainly like I've just gotten to know Lanny Green. Like, I've been staring at Lanny Green's mug all of 2019, and it's wild to just. That's kind of. I think I've spent more time fake FaceTime, with Lanny Green than I probably have Rich.
That's probably
Ledoux.
true.
So.
Oh, it's an honor to be here.
I had
Thank
only
you.
met you. I had only met you one time
Before shooting.
Oh, really?
shooting. So sorry that I got your name wrong. I had only met you once. You're not my dad's best friend.
I was Lanny
That's
after
Steven.
that. That makes sense.
Steve
Yeah.
could have corrected me. He's heard me say it a million times.
Yeah, I like to watch
Just-
people fail.
Yeah, just let me drown
Yeah.
in the embarrassing waters of pronouncing our star actor's name horribly wrong.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
That was
sorry.
more of like a deer in the headlights at that moment after the premiere. You know what I mean? I mean, I had no idea what to expect walking in. I didn't know that you guys sold out the Ellen until literally I walked in that front door.
We didn't know either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother and my best friend both traveled to be there with me, and I had no idea what to expect. And we walked in, and there's the packed lobby of the Ellen, and I was like, whoa, I see the red carpet. You guys did it proper with the. I knew there was going to be a photographer, but that backdrop of Hocked, everything looks so official.
I made that backdrop. I broke my toe
That-
making that backdrop.
well done.
Yeah, we really tried the fake it till you make it route.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it paid off
I think
pretty
you pulled
good.
it off.
Thanks.
More than pulled it off. And then, we're watching the movie and so many people are hooting and hollering. I mean, I couldn't even hear so many of the lines watching it that first time. So when it was time for me to step up onto the huge Ellen stage and answer some questions about the movie, I was I was a little shell-shocked there, and I didn't really have too much to say, so I let the fans down my first opportunity.
Oh, I don't think you did.
No,
But,
I heard from
you-
a couple people that they were blown away by because you showed up. I think and you weren't clean shaved, but you didn't have a big beard,
It was clean shaved.
and
Yeah,
you
he
didn't look
was,
like
yeah.
you were
Oh, I was
He was
drinking.
clean
shaven.
shaven. He was.
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so you're totally clean.
He looked
That's
totally
awesome.
different.
Yeah, you
I
look
don't think anybody
totally
even
different.
realized who he was.
Yeah, your dad told me I looked like a nerdy professor.
Oh.
He's like, it's
Well,
good
you
to
were-
have you back because I'm
were
growing
wearing
that facial
tweed.
hair again.
Tweed.
Yeah, I'll rock some
Ooh,
tweed. I
great.
thought I looked damn
You,
No.
gentlemanly
You
in
look
that
hot, man.
tweed.
Look good in tweed.
Your dad dissed me.
You did look hot.
Well, Drake looks like a thumb in half of the movie, so.
Right.
We couldn't have a
We're gonna
podcast without
diss
bringing
him
up my
later.
dad's thumb face.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
not
him.
the face. It's like the face-head combination.
Man, him clean shaven. I had no idea that monster was under there. It's my chance to give a little back to
You
him.
guys
Yeah.
ever watch that Spy Kids movie with like? You probably didn't because you didn't have kids when this came out. But Steve and I are the same age. Spy Kids, and they go to like this island or whatever, and there's thumb people.
Too old over
I'm
here.
gonna have to show you. It's literally like the face is a thumb, the arm is a thumb, legs,
Yeah.
thumbs. It's like all thumb.
Little
I'm just
thumb
picturing
puppets.
my dad over and over. So yeah, I could
That's
probably
like
get it.
literally
I think-
what he looks like.
I
is
think someone
the thumb creature
mentioned
from Spy Kids.
he posted something on Facebook. It was like a still shot of him clean shaven from the movie, and someone mentioned that he looked like Darth Vader underneath all the armor.
After they take the mask
when
off.
they take the mask off. I don't know who that was, but that made me LOL.
That's
Oh
good
my
stuff.
God.
Yeah, that was not right.
Drake, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
We love you, but holy shit.
Oh, he's a handsome man with a beard.
Oh, yeah.
He really
Cam's
is.
Cam's mom was like, Steve's dad looks way hotter with a beard.
Yes.
So-
He's one person that should always have the fuzz on
Mm-hmm.
the face.
Yeah, he even said after he's like, the biggest compliment I could have gotten from the premiere was people saying I didn't see you in the movie. It's like, well, hey, that means he's just a chameleon.
Right.
It's
yeah.
good stuff.
Because he had technically 3 roles in the movie. Is that right?
Boy. Well, yeah. So he's Jimmy. He's the thug at the end, and then he's an extra in a couple things, and I think he's something else, but I can't
Wow.
I was
remember
gonna say,
off the top of my head.
I think the real number is 4.
He was
Is that
shooting
right?
for as many as he could rack
I
up.
love that.
So
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
great.
Yeah. But one thing I want to ask you is, a lot of people, went into the premiere with like some weird feelings because no one's really an actor.
Mm-hmm.
No one really knew what was going to go into it. But I think you were kind of really plastered all over the place, whether it be the trailer or, you know, the posters going into it. What's that like walking in? Did people recognize you, and were they like, "Oh, you're the main guy. I'm really looking forward to this"? Or no?
I'm trying to think.
In the window.
I don't think before the movie I had anyone come up to me.
Really?
But afterwards, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
watching
cool.
the movie, but
you did look so different, so they probably just didn't catch you.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, and that's kind of what I was going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns
I
out
wanted
you're a
to
pretty
sneak
big
in
deal.
there.
Every PR thing we've done, like with any of the radio stations, everyone was like, "Hey, that's Rich Ledoux. Hey, that's Kevin Moriarty." Like you and Kevin, and Ty. I think everyone was like, "Hey, I know that guy."
Yeah, the Town Square interview. Obviously, Kevin and I both. Kevin still works there, but I worked there for 8 years. So
8 years.
8 years. Yeah. So I worked with Dave, not Allie. She wasn't there when I was there, but Dave from XL. I worked.
Shout out.
Yep. Dave Wooten, guy is amazing at what he does. Yeah.
Which one were you on?
I work at for the Moose.
Oh, you were the Moose.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Right on. Mm-hmm. No, going in there, that was fun. The Moose, the office there, it really feels like there's just, I don't know, it's just kind of cool and cozy.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of like people signing the walls and stuff.
Yep.
You can tell that there's a lot of cool people cruise through there. It was fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Figures you would like that. Steve makes everybody sign the banner that's in here every
Yeah.
time they come in.
No, it's you know, it's adding your mark to something. It's
Absolutely,
just needed.
yeah.
Rich,
Personalized,
have you
laid back
signed
feel.
that thing yet?
Yeah.
That one. I believe so.
Right there.
He signed it as
below
Lanny
me.
Green.
Right by the Banjo Ninja. I love it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
right below me. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had to sign in the D.
Rachel France. I forget your last name.
Franz, yeah. Cam says Franz and Franz, so I don't really know how it's actually pronounced, so I won't get mad.
Well, I want to know, you know, not just about the premiere. I want to know. Let's go back. We've kind of hit the very beginning and the end. You know, during production, you had, I think, a pretty tough role to tackle. And you know, I know you have. You know, you kind of identified with Lanny Green a little bit, and you had some stuff to draw on. But a lot of people, like myself, I was just playing a lamer version of myself, I think. So I didn't really have to go too far in the waters of acting. But I think Lanny Green,
By the way, I really loved the job that you did, though. Seriously.
Well, thank you.
I mean,
again, Steve Dirks. It's like 3 letters off of Steve Drake. So
And
if it's not, I don't even know how many letters.
Not to sidetrack us again, but I just recently found out that it was Steve Dirks.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
He only made a last name for his character, Steve, because I was making those title cards that says Rich Ledoux as Lanny Green and Kevin Moriarty as Detective Kelly. Those, and I was like, Steve, what is Steve's last name? And he was like, Dirks? I was like, seriously?
Went Dirk Diggler on it, huh?
You're going to go with that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Steve Dirks.
Dirks.
There's nothing wrong with Dirks. I think it kind of fits. I mean, he's not the smartest guy. He's just sort of like going through the motions. He's just stuck in this job that's the family business, you know. So I get it. He could be Dirks.
I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, what I want to know is, you know, you had some pretty dark scenes, and how did you get into character? What was that process like? Like, walk us through that.
Yeah. So what I did, you know, again, first time ever having any kind of acting role, kept thinking, how exactly does one prepare for a role, especially a role like this? So what I did was just really familiarize myself with the story, with the script, read that a bunch of times before even trying to memorize any lines, because I kind of wanted to, I felt I had the liberty to kind of make the character my own, because we didn't really talk at length about the direction of Lanny or kind of where his headspace was at. And I just felt like he was a very super lonely, lost, dark soul who had no one in life. All he had was his music to lean on, which I can kind of relate to. Not that I don't have anyone in my life. I mean, leaning on a creative space in your mind, you know, music to me and playing music, it means a lot. And I could see if you didn't have any close relationships in your life, the relationship that would evolve even further with music. So to me, that's a very personal relationship as it is. But I just felt like ultimately he was super lonely and, got, the super short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Not just in the span of these couple days of the movie, but I felt like that was the pinnacle of his life. There was no discussion on sort of his backstory, where he came from. So I just imagined that he had been lonely for a long time, obviously to have a addiction to drugs in the way that he did. He also, was leaning on that or masking his pain with that as one does.
Right.
So I just felt like he was in a really, really dark, lonely place. And I can sort of sympathize with that as well, because I've got some darkness in my soul, in my past.
Mm-hmm.
If we're doing a podcast and I didn't think I was going to go here today, I might as well just throw it all out there, because I think
we're unloading.
Yeah, we're unloading. I think it's really relevant to the role. I mean, for me, I now talk to a therapist who literally, for me, is a lifesaver, as they are for so many other people. But I'm finally at a place now where I feel like my mind is working as it should. But I had some trauma in my life that sort of created turmoil. I'll just back up and get right into it, I guess, no other way. But when I was 5 and 6 years old, my real father took off when I was 2. So I was just with my mom. She got another boyfriend. I believe they only dated for a year or two. I think it was probably closer to 2.
Okay.
I pieced this timeline together later in life, but he was super abusive to her. He wasn't to me, but he was very, very physically abusive to her. And then the last memory I have is he either killed himself in front of me or tried to. He took a knife and plunged it into his stomach in front of me as like a 6-year-old boy. Yeah, and I didn't remember any of this. I suppressed it until I was about 20 or 21.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Down.
Yeah, I had no memory whatsoever of it until that time, and it came back really slowly, like a dream would, like you're remembering a dream.
You almost don't even know if it was real or not.
Yeah, it took me a couple of years. I mean, I went for probably a year or two thinking, is this just all a nightmare that I'm slowly recalling? But that's how slow it was. But it started with remembering certain rooms of this house that we were living in. And that's all it was. I'm like, what room is that? And then I remembered a kitchen. And then all of a sudden, then the memories start creeping in. Then I remember my mom being dragged by her hair through that kitchen and stuff like that. And then I'm like, wow, did this happen? I wish I sought therapy at that point. But, I'm in my 20s and I'm thinking, especially back then, that, I don't need anyone to help me out. I'm strong enough, all this stupid male kind of macho nonsense we do. So then it just started kind of wreaking havoc for me in my life, and I got into a lot of trouble, and I developed a very addictive personality at the time with alcohol, a little bit with drugs, and with gambling. I had a gambling addiction. Come to find out, fast forward to today, I needed these sort of these bursts of adrenaline, which an addiction can give you to sort of wake me up. So turns out my therapist diagnosed me with PTSD, and my nervous system is kind of shot where, with your nervous system, like any animal, it's fight or flight. And for the longest time, when I was a kid, I was sort of in fight mode, but as a 5 and 6 year old, there's nothing I could really do. So nowadays, or as these addictions developed, I was in flight mode. So I was very zoned out. I was there, but I'm just in another place in my head, and these sort of addictions would give me an adrenaline burst to know that I'm still alive. To kind of knock me back into the window you should be with your nervous system. Now I understand all this, and like I said, the past 3 or 4 years have been great. Now that I understand kind of how my nervous system and my mind works, I don't have to worry about any sort of havoc taking over anymore. I understand what's going on, so it's great. But anyway, my 20s and 30s there was a lot of dark times and dealing with these memories and trying to figure it out for myself. So that's sort of the headspace I went to with Lanny.
I just want to say, thank you for being willing to share with us.
Yeah, sorry that was so long-winded, but
no, man, say what you got to say.
Yeah.
I identify with a lot of that, but it's a story for a different day. But my second follow-up there is, you're not in your 30s?
Right? I mean,
you look good.
I've got the forehead of a 30-year-old. No,
that wisdom.
Yeah,
I assumed
I'm now in my
and
40s now.
What?
Yeah, just turned 43.
I just assumed you and Lisa were like early 30s,
Oh, I appreciate
mid 30s,
that.
maybe.
Yeah.
God, you guys got good skin.
God, Rachel, quit hitting on the talent.
I'm hitting on Lisa. Sorry,
I
Rich.
appreciate that. Yeah, but that's seriously kind of where I sort of had to go with this character. I kind of identified with him in a lot of ways, especially when you let an addiction take over your life. And yeah, had I not found Lisa, had I not started a family, I could see myself going down a similar path.
Similar path to Lanny Green, huh?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you could have done a role like this, say, like 5 years ago?
No, I think it would have probably led to more destructive behavior.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of self-sabotage with all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something kind of personal?
Yeah.
No,
we're already there.
I mean, I'll cut it out if you don't want it in there. But
No,
you
please.
said when you were young, you saw your stepdad commit suicide. Your character obviously commits suicide, and I remember having a conversation with Steve about watching that scene, and just like I can feel like my breath leaving my body because
Alongside Lanny.
Because
too.
you hear your last breath being like boom, lights out. And a big thing for me was like, you have really blue eyes, and when it cuts to black, I feel like I can still see them in that scene because they're so glossy, and your eyes are watering, like you're tearing up. Is that something that you might have drawn on?
Definitely, yeah. So I'm glad that I think that was the last shot that we filmed for my character, right?
I think the last one was it's when you cleaned up and we did the shots behind the counter.
That's right.
But
that
was the last
major.
Seriously,
that was
Lanny
that was a little
involved
montage
one.
shot where I didn't have to speak too much.
Yeah.
But the last real scene we did was that one, and I'm glad because I don't know. Coming into the whole process, I'm like, oh my God. I was dreading that scene because I knew I would have to put everything into it and kind of go back to that that place.
Oh, absolutely. Put yourself right back.
Me as
after
a
all
6-year-old
this
child,
work
I couldn't
that
help
you've done.
it. Yeah.
You had to help yourself.
Yep. And I knew if we were going to do the movie right and do the scene right, do it justice, that I would have to go there. So I was kind of dreading it in my mind, and yeah, man, I remember how sort of powerful it was. And I don't know if you remember this, after one of the takes, because you're in that scene with me, it was cut. And then I looked over at you. I was going to ask you, like, what'd you think? Was that good? And you kind of, like, just looked down at the ground, took a deep breath, shook your head, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the one. That's when we knew it was good. But yeah.
You weren't there when we filmed Steve and Booger's reaction to that scene. I was filming it, and Steve ended up having to watch on the laptop you doing your portion of it. He watched it like
no
over
way to
and
get
over
in that
again.
headspace without at least seeing something. I wasn't strong enough an actor to just pull that out of my
He
ass.
watched
No
it
way.
multiple times before that we actually filmed his portion of it.
Oh, wow.
And I think it really messed with him.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I had to like go in the back, and I was yelling, trying to
Yeah.
amp myself up, get that adrenaline going, where you're just like shaking, where I can almost barely not hold the, hold the
pistol.
gun, because
It's a heavy pistol,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I remember I had like this eerie sort of chill on my body and in my skin. And
it was in the theater too. You could tell that at the premiere. I don't think a lot of people were expecting.
That was the one time in the entire movie that everyone was drop dead silent.
Yeah.
And of course, I took that silence as, it wasn't believable.
No, the silence was you were way believable, and people were like, "Is that guy okay?"
Right. And actually, one of the biggest compliments I got too was from my best friend in the world, who knows me probably better than anyone. He said it was really hard for him to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just seemed so believable, and he was like, "Dude, I just never wanted to see you killing yourself," and that's what it felt like. And
I think a lot a lot of people had
brutal.
that in some of the harder scenes. I mean, a lot of people die, and a lot of people brought their family to the movie, and there's a lot of sharing. This is the first time I've heard everyone this story, and I'm going through my mind now, just like if I had known that, if I would have made you
that's why I didn't want to tell you any of that, because I didn't want you to hold me back. I look at it as you have to, any kind of production, but and any kind of movie, you have to do it right. You have to do it justice. You have to make it seem authentic. And
I wrestled with that with Lanny. Like, what are we gonna do with this character? Because he was the glue character.
We didn't want him to die. We did not want him to die.
We were all rooting for Lanny. I think everyone's rooting for Lanny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They wanted him to pull it out. They wanted him to somehow escape and come on, just keep playing your guitar, man. You're so talented.
Everybody wants him to make it big.
But in that scene, I was writing it, and I could not see any other way out. And I don't know how that
I
hits
agree.
you.
No, I agree. He wasn't the hero of the movie. I mean, if it's a nice little puppy dogs and rainbow production, if it's a made-for-TV movie, then maybe you go that route. But I think you made the right decision.
Steve came to Jalen and I, because the whole thing wasn't fully written by the time we had started filming, and Steve came to Jalen and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen to Lanny, and he kind of told us, he was like, this is where we're at in the writing, and it could go this way, but it could go this way, and I think it's better this way, and unfortunately that was with Lanny dying, and everybody loves Lanny, and he really wasn't supposed to be the main character. Really, Steve was supposed to be the main character, and then you come in, and all of a sudden, you really embody this person. And just like Kevin made Detective Kelly somebody that we were like, oh, he could be a good character. Like, he could be somebody that someone's invested in. You did the same thing for Lanny times 10. And it was like, holy shit, I'm rooting for the drug addict.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Thank you.
I think you made the right decision. Ultimately, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, if he lives, then he's the hero, and it has a whole different feel. I think
it wouldn't be the same movie.
It wouldn't be the same movie at all.
No, it'd be
a totally
little
different movie.
Kind of be a movie, but defanged almost. Like we wanted to make a movie that was real.
Yeah.
And boy, things can get nasty in the real world.
I got to tell you, my favorite character after watching it was Beer Can. Really was. He was my favorite character.
I love
He is a fan favorite.
Awesome. Definitely.
I think there's a few.
It's hilarious.
It's hard to write comedy, I think, and I didn't know how a lot of these jokes were gonna land, but thank God everyone who was a comedic factor did so well.
He was perfect.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Andrew was born to play Beer Can Rob.
Definitely, even right down to his dance next to the Banjo Ninja.
Yeah,
I just I loved everything about it. And my favorite scene, favorite comedic scene, is when you go to visit him at his home.
Yeah, his lair.
And eventually have some breakfast with him. I just thought that was hilarious.
Coors Light.
So funny.
It's Coors Banquet, Rachel. We don't drink Coors Light.
How does Beer Can afford Banquet?
Well,
no.
Just 30 cents.
Beer Can Rob definitely drinks Coors Light, at least for part of the movie, because in Beer Can's adventure, he's crushing those 16-ounce.
He was in the adventure, but when he's at home, he likes to kick his feet up and he likes to splurge.
It's fancy.
And you also
he knew he
make
was
the reference
have
to the Blue Mountains.
I do.
Yeah. Someone's lost in those Blue Mountains.
Yeah.
Like someone's,
Been spending too much time in the Blue Mountains, something like that.
Yeah.
No, but he definitely drinks. He drinks Banquet, because I remember we were drinking warm Banquet that day.
Oh, you know what?
So
You're
I kept
right.
spitting it out. It was just like. Ugh.
And you talk about a commitment to the craft and to a role. Didn't he drink some whiskey before that?
Quite a bit of Pendleton before
for
taking
the
spill.
speed wobbles.
Yep.
Yeah. So the scene where he's riding his bike, he'd asked me, he's like, well, what do I need to do to prepare for this? And I said, honestly, Andrew, if you're going to come film with us, it would just be really great for me if you could show up half-tuned every time you're going to come film.
Yeah.
And so when it was coming to time for him to do his, like, introductory beer can rob scene, I told him, I was like, just show up drunk. You're going to need Brittany to drive you. That's his wife. And so they show up, and I was like, hey, man, how drunk are you? He goes, I drank a bottle of Pendleton.
Perfect.
And Brittany had, like, Sprite and Pedialyte or something on standby. And then Cam brought him an extra 6-pack of Coors Light so he could keep the buzz going.
And he needed to burp.
Yeah.
Like, he can burp without drinking, because we brought him in here to do some voiceover work like we did with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey man, can you just like burp a couple times? I needed him like grunting and all sorts of these, random stuff. He's like
gross
oh, yeah.
noises.
He's one of those guys.
He's one of those
yeah,
guys.
We all had one of those friends back in the day.
He may have
Got to get air in your throat, man.
Yeah.
Like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah, no. I think he needed more juicy ones or something, because there's a good blooper where he's like, I'm like, hey man, can you burp? And he's like, give me a beer. Maybe he just wanted me to bring him a beer.
There it is.
That all makes sense.
That sounds like Andrew.
He's laying on the ground. I made him crash that bike like 6 times at
Yeah.
that point. So
And it was on ice.
yeah.
If
I
you
told
have-
him up there on that stage after the premiere that he was my favorite character. He really was. Yeah.
Yeah,
thought he was great.
I think so
Just a
far the
lovable
fan
guy,
favorites
right?
are
Yeah.
Beer Can Rob and Booger. I think those are the 2 fan favorites
Mm-hmm.
out of everybody.
I definitely think they made people laugh the most during the premiere, which was needed
Yeah.
to balance out some of these scenes.
Lanny made everyone cry.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah,
was
I
like
know-
so sad
I
for
didn't
Lanny.
make anyone
and then,
laugh.
No, you
They're
did
very
not.
happy
Rich.
to have you.
The only
That was
Very
my
excited.
only comedic
Yeah.
That was the
line that
only
wasn't
line that
supposed
wasn't
to
so
be.
heavy, though.
that was
Right.
that was the only like lighthearted line of Lanny Green
You really
Poor
only
guy.
have like 2 lines before it just starts really going
getting real
downhill for
shitty.
you.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so sorry we did this to you, Rich.
Yeah, and you've mentioned before that you're interested in maybe going into some comedic roles now, right?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
That could be fun.
Love to try my hand at that. Yeah.
That was something that's really neat is, I don't know, I think we could go into it a little bit. I mean, what kind of acting experience did you have coming into the film?
Not much at all. So I have always wanted to try this since I can remember, since high school. And in fact, my good buddy who came to the premiere, who I was just talking about, shout out to Russ Massey. So he's kind of been my partner in crime, and he's the only one I ever shared this with. We both sort of shared the same dream of acting, and we talked over the years about so many different ideas we had, and maybe we should start our own comic show. We had so many different ideas.
Really?
Yeah.
So it started with
It
comedy.
kind of, yeah, it did, yeah.
Okay,
And then
cool.
there was sort of like hidden camera stuff before that became popular. It's how old I am, Rachel. I know I don't look it.
You don't.
But no, we just had so many
Sorry
ideas.
I complimented you.
And I really wanted to try my hand at acting for so long. So this is a total dream come true for me, to be in any sort of feature, and especially one as amazing as it turned out. So fast forward to my freshman year in college, I took it a little step further in that I looked into the theater program at Central Connecticut State and took some acting classes. And the only place it went from there was some improv stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to exercise the comedy chops a little bit there. And yeah, just a bunch of acting classes. From there, I had some kids in my class as well as my professor try to get me to audition for different roles on stage. But that was never in the plans for me. But
Stage is a different beast.
that's a whole different beast.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
to Jalen about that too. She says it's like a completely different experience
Yeah, that
trying to be
scares me.
live.
That
She
scares
said
me.
that because she does mostly live theater, and she talked about how you get so much more in your own head in live theater,
I
and
can
it trips
imagine.
you up way
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
And she was saying that like being on camera was way easier for her.
I can see that.
If you
Yeah,
fuck up your line in a movie, it makes the blooper reel.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And everyone's like, ah.
Yeah,
But you
gotta-
fuck it up on stage, people boo at you, I'm sure.
Oh shit!
You got to be a one-take wonder throughout the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
scary.
It's a lot of pressure.
That's some serious commitment.
And like you said, and just knowing that in your head, having that liberty, if I fuck up, who cares?
Right.
It'll make a blooper reel. It'll be funny. We can keep going. I like knowing that for
Yeah,
sure.
I do
But,
too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's why I never said yes to any of those audition calls there.
And there's a tape somewhere, right, of some improv?
So I also took a...
We're going to have to get a copy of that.
I took a video production class, and one of the assignments, and this was only one class, also my freshman year, I believe. One of the assignments was to recreate a movie scene. I think it had to be anywhere from 2 minutes to 5 minutes long, so a quick, short scene. And I chose Friday. And I played the role of Smokey and Russ, who I was just talking about.
Right?
Yeah, Chris Tucker. Yeah. Russ was Ice Cube, and we were out on the front porch smoking weed.
Well, yeah, that was be real.
Probably, damn, you ain't got shit to do. It's Friday. I think that was probably a big reason I chose it, is that we had to, of course, make it authentic and smoke some blunts on my front porch back in the day, my early 20s.
Did you have a Debo come up and take your chain?
No.
Oh,
no.
Come on.
We didn't. I know we didn't take it that far.
I think that's my favorite part from that. Is you got knocked the fuck out.
I'm gonna need that bike.
We were talking about Felicia, I think, in the scene, but I don't even think we had a Felicia come by.
Yeah.
I think we reacted to her. But yeah, there is a tape of that, a VHS tape. Again, that's how old I am.
We gotta get a hold of that.
I lost it for a lot of years and only just recovered it. So I'd be watching it for the first time in about 20 years.
That's too good.
Yeah.
No, we gotta uncover that. That's gotta make it in the behind the scenes. We're just digging into
my first ever acting role. Yeah. It's gotta make it. Yeah.
Heck yeah. No, we've been digging through all the. Just today, I was digging through a lot of the behind the scenes footage that we had that other people got a hold of for us, like just cell phone stuff, and some of it's so good because it lets you just relive all those scenes in a way that I wasn't able to do as like a bystander. It was like there was always something. We were always so focused. Like there was always so many time constraints and so many balls up in the air. So I'm incredibly excited to do the behind the scenes footage.
I think I have some video on my phone of Kevin dying.
Ooh.
I was on set that day because right afterwards I think I did the clean Lanny scene.
That makes sense.
I think that all rolled into one. But yeah, so I've got video of him dying.
Was it when he tried to die the first time?
The first time.
Okay,
the second time
it was just
blood.
Nobody there.
Yeah.
Because we needed to have nobody there.
He
keep him
he
in
wasn't
that
like
headspace.
stoked about the way he did it the first time.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, he wasn't really happy with it, so he came back, and the second time he was like, "Can we just like keep it just the three of us?" So it was just me and Steve and Kevin, and that was when we did the blood effects, and so. We had to set up all this plastic, and it looked like a scene out of Dexter for sure.
Yeah, big time.
And it's funny you say that too, because again, terrified of my final scene and when we have to shoot it, I remember thinking in my head, I just hope no one is there that day. I hope it's just the actors. And sure enough, it was not. I know Jay was there, and I think her boyfriend at the time.
Isaac.
Or I don't know if,
she's still with him.
Still with him. Her boyfriend, and then maybe some of their friends. So it was a few people I didn't know, and I remember right away knowing that I had to do the scene in front of them. I got in my own head. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it as good. I'm going to hold back. And then there was a moment where I'm like, I have to let that shit go because I'm not going to ask them to leave. How stupid would I look and feel?
No, you should have.
Dude,
you're the star of the film.
That's a big note I took from this first project is if there doesn't need to be somebody there, they're not going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up yelling at people all the time anyway.
You got to get in that headspace. I don't even want to talk to you. I just want you to show up.
Right.
And until we say cut, like I want you to just be Lanny Green
That'd
over
be
in
a
the
great
corner.
way to go at it.
That's the plan.
But I just didn't want to come off as a diva. You know,
Next time,
I'm going to need everyone to go ahead and leave.
Christian Bale over there is yelling at the light guy. Jesus.
Next thing you know, I'm Joaquin.
You know what?
Next time. Do it too?
He's always yelling at people on set, I believe.
Yeah.
Next time you should.
I don't think you're allowed to talk to him at all.
I think you should next time. Because that is such a hard scene to do.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you're a normal guy. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You're not fucking Christian Bale.
Yeah.
You could be. Give it a couple years. But
we'll get you there.
Well, that's the reason why I didn't want to make any kind of demands. You know, I remember just thinking in my head, I got to get over this shit and pretend they're not here and just fucking go after it, or I'm not going to be happy later.
Rachel would have kicked their ass out if you would have asked.
I wasn't there that day.
Oh, really?
You weren't there that day.
I was not there the day that
Lanny
Rich,
died?
Yeah, I wasn't
wow,
there.
okay.
I was there for yours and Booger's reaction. I think I was doing a wedding the day that you guys did.
She's over there floating the business.
Yeah,
making sure
I'm
the
taking care of the
veil
business,
doesn't
making
tank.
sure we get paid.
Yeah.
And can I also take a time out and give you a quick shout out for the makeup?
No.
No, seriously, I've said this to so many people. I was so impressed with them. I couldn't believe it was your first time doing any sort of movie makeup because it was amazing.
Well, thank you.
It really was.
I know everything that I did wrong, and I will fix it in the future. But
On this
you were
episode
very
of the podcast,
patient.
It's just a bunch of artists saying how shitty they felt about themselves.
Yeah. No, you were very patient with me because
Well,
I
you
know.
sort of learned on the
it
fly,
was-
right? There
yeah.
were YouTube videos.
There's a lot of that
briefly.
going on.
Yeah, I got a couple books and watched a lot of YouTube videos. But you were very patient, and every time I was like, "Is it okay if I do this?" You were like, "Sure."
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
okay, I might take your eye out.
I remember moments too, and this is gonna be so gross.
Oh, no.
But like I would just say something. Rachel would always ask me. She'd be like, "Does Rich look okay?"
Yeah.
And I'd look at you, and there was always like, well, I don't know, he's not like dirty enough. I feel like he'd be dirtier.
Yeah.
And I would go to the back, and I would come up with like dust
Yeah.
from just something, and I just needed some sort of dirt. And there was snow on the ground, so there's no dirt outside.
Yeah.
So I would
Pawn
just
shop
like
goo.
wipe some sort of dusty surface, and I would just like dab it on your neck
Yeah.
like a cologne, and then kind of rub it in. And of course, I was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go get some dust." I think, right? Did I ask you that?
I think you
Totally.
always
good.
just said
Yeah.
Good.
dirt. Because I know at one point it was from your basement
There was some
when he's
basement
getting
dirt.
the shit
So
beat
that
out
was
of him.
ideal because you had the dirt there.
Yeah, it was
and-
right there.
And it was
Yeah.
much needed for that
Yeah.
scene. I
Anything
needed
in
to
the
be
pawn
dirty
shop
there.
though, that was probably just essence of
That
pawn
was like
shop.
40-year-old dust.
Sorry, Rich.
It never got dust.
It's all good.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
I-
on
person-
Steve. That wasn't on me.
You guys
Fuck
don't need to
the show.
apologize. I look at all this stuff as necessity for the movie. For
You
any
know-
for any movie. I mean, you better be uncomfortable and get some
Yeah.
shit thrown at your face every now and again if you're going to make it look real and do it right.
I think so,
Hopefully
too.
you end up famous because of it.
Yeah. Well, and I know too. I remember way back, and I don't know if it was one of the earlier times that we had shot, but I think we were at my house, and you just said, "You're like, do you want to do everything one take, or are you kind of like as many shots as it takes?"
I remember that, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I was like, "It's gonna be as many shots as it takes." I'm sorry.
No, I was
Steve is the.
And you were
that's
jazzed.
like-
You were just like, "I love it."
I was making sure that I did have that liberty to. For me, I was never satisfied ever. For any take I did, I always felt in my mind I had a better take,
Mhm.
and I was asking you if you had the patience to go there with me. Do you mind if we shoot this thing 1,000,000 times? It's gonna suck for you in the edit room, so I'm trying to be courteous here, but I always felt like I had a better take.
You have
every
no
single time.
idea. That is like the epitome of Steve as a videographer. Anything we do, if he can get 100 takes, he's gonna get 100 takes.
See, we got to continue this working relationship, my friend.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you're going
I
to be
agree.
like a Tarantino, and you're going to have every character back for everything you do.
Well, we killed a lot of them, so.
No, I mean for future productions.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
The
Tarantino
same core
always-
group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
You'll
Loves
yeah.
to bring
be
actors
our
back.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, that's
There
what
we
I was
go.
hoping for.
You can
There
be
we go.
Samuel. I've got two things in the works. I've got lots of things on my mind, but two things that are being created, and both of them, there's got to be a Rich Ledoux
Yes,
in
I'd
there.
love to hear that.
And
It's
unfortunately,
documented.
yeah,
You hit record, right, Rich?
I hit
Rachel.
it this time.
You're still
we're
recording?
we gotta check.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Am I
wait.
supposed to be recording this?
Let's see where I was going. Oh, so I don't really have a heavily comedic role in mind because one project's definitely going to be a drama that is going to go into some personal elements of mine, and nothing too heavy or nothing, but it'll be interesting. And another one is it's a mockumentary, so it's not necessarily
Nice.
super funny, but it might be up your alley.
Oh, sweet.
And that
So-
one I think is gonna be a shorter one.
It'll be a
right?
shorter one.
Okay.
It will be a regular documentary length, a mini documentary length.
Yeah,
because
like
I think the
30
ceiling on that
minutes.
project's going to be pretty high, but it might be real fun.
I love mockumentaries. I
They're
was a
awesome.
big fan as a kid of Spinal Tap. I loved everything
yes.
about it. So that's
I love Spinal Tap.
Yes,
Yeah. No, a solid satire is just lovely.
nothing better.
Especially
I agree.
if the trick is to get as close to reality as possible.
Yep.
Where people are like, I don't know if they're joking.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
And
I
that's,
gotta toe
I
that
love
line.
that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
So,
for the record, Rich, Steve isn't the only one with ideas. Mine are going to be much more dark and heavy, though. Mine are definitely dramas, so his
Rich
will
is
probably
tied
be
to
more
my
fun.
productions, though. So sorry, you're gonna have to find your own with Rich.
They're all single six
now we're
media
signing
productions.
contracts, I feel like.
Yeah.
Steven has a contract with Single Six Media that says he will not pursue any other video work outside of Single Six Media, so everything he does is Single Six Media.
I can offer you 0.005%, Rich.
Done. And I don't know if you want to talk about this, Rachel, but did you mention that you're sort of thinking about a prequel to Hocked?
I do want to do...
Steven not vested at all?
Nope. That ain't my story.
I think he'll change his mind, but Jalen and I have talked about we want to do the backstory of Jay and how she gets to be this evil bitch that she is.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
To backtrack a little bit, you talked earlier about how Lanny Green didn't really have a ton of background. Like his background wasn't super fleshed out at all. So you had to kind of go off of what you had and then make it your own, which I think was beneficial to the film. But for the character of Jay, me and Steve and Jalen all sat down and we really fleshed out her background because she had such a short amount of time on screen that we all felt like it was really beneficial to Jalen playing Jay to have all that background because that's the only thing she could draw from, and she had to make that time count. Well, so since we have all of this fleshed out, Jalen and I want to write Jay's background and eventually do... It wouldn't necessarily be a prequel, but it would be in the same universe, essentially. Like, this is how she came to be,
There's gotta
and
be
it
a
would
word
be
for
about
that.
her.
I wonder what it is.
I don't know, Marvel movie.
Yeah.
No. Don't you beep that. We don't say anything about superheroes.
I think they call them origin stories.
Yeah. Okay, origin stories.
Yeah.
Jay's
Jay
origin
gets
story.
bit by a spider and becomes a monster.
No, but I said there's a
Don't
lot.
sue us.
I said there's a lot there because I think that was one of the main takeaways from the movie, in that the audience wanted to know more because it was the big curveball, right? You find out that she was actually Jay. Everyone was thinking it was a male, and we briefly saw Jay, and then when you tie that all together, it's a little mind grenade. So that'd be cool to then go back and kind of talk about her origin.
That
it
would
could be
cool.
a really cool project. I do
Yeah?
agree.
Yeah.
Because to turn somebody, everyone's character obviously goes through some change in this movie, but it's only like 3 or 4 days where you see a change happening. So there's not enough time to see that, where, a lot of my favorite movies or shows, you see someone become a different person.
Right.
Where that would be really interesting to watch how, Jay's character could turn where we left off to, her being this normal girl. Because she wasn't born this murderous monster.
Right.
It would be interesting to flesh that out and watch it happen on screen.
We did sort of, and I think this is the only way where you can develop a character with only a movie that takes place in a 3-day span, is with flashbacks.
Right.
So there was a scene.
We hinted at it.
Right.
Gave you a little piece.
Right. There was the flashback scene in the basement where you kind of learn a little bit more about Jay, what she did there with the carjack and everything. That's really the only way, though, right, to develop a character.
Pretty much.
With a 3-day span.
We could have gone way deeper, but it's more fun. I thought it was more fun to leave it up to the imagination and just really smack people in the face with this little twist.
Well, and also, Hocked is a pretty fast-paced movie.
Very fast-paced,
But
actually.
it's still an hour and a half long. It's still a feature length. But it's just got such a fast pace to it that I feel like diving more into Jay's background would have slowed everything down too much.
You wouldn't have been able to fit it in, really.
Yeah.
No, but I think that pulls off that effect of what I was talking about. It's once you find out that Jay is who she is, you're left with so many questions, and you're left with that feeling of wanting to know more, which I think is big to get out of an audience, right?
Yeah.
Because then they just sort of piece things together, and then it opens up the dialogue for so many more questions about the film. I think it makes it more interesting.
We've even talked about I don't even know what you'd call it, but we've been discussing that maybe Beer Can Rob is somehow related to Jay.
Oh.
That's Steven's idea.
Oh, it is my idea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're the one that said you don't want anything to do with Jay's origin story.
All I'm saying is it'd be funny if they
you're
were
not
brother
allowed to
and
have
sister.
ideas.
I don't have to have
Don't
ideas.
get in her head, man.
But what if
If
Pops
you
had a
want to be a
son?
part of it, you need to be a part of it. Like,
What if
for
Pops
real.
had a son that never lived up to his expectations because he was just a drunk?
There it is.
And he had to find someone new to
Hmm.
replace that
I'm
void
going
in
to
his
cut
heart.
all of this out because I don't
Do
want
not
you to
do that.
spoil
Oh, come
our
on.
project.
No, it's
You're not
fine.
going to use that.
I'm talking
No
It's a
spoilers.
great. It's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to use it. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Now you're not allowed to use it.
If he wants
Do
to be a
not
part
take
of
that
it,
out.
I want him to be a part of it. But he's the one that's made a big stink about how he doesn't want anything to do with it.
Well, I want to. I love Hocked so much, and so much effort and time and bits of me went into Hocked that I really want to just leave that as it is, because I think it's very easy as an artist, and you both might agree to this, that you can tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak,
Oh, yeah.
and you want another
Totally.
take, and you want this, and you want that.
100%. I've ruined so many projects due to tweaking. I really have.
And I can't let go of stuff. And this is the first time that I just feel like, man, I need to let this thing go.
Mm-hmm.
It was that version that it's the best thing I could make
Yeah.
at the time. I really believe that there's no gas left in that Hocked tank, for real, for
Yeah.
me personally.
Well,
So,
I think you said the something that's very important right there is they're little timepieces.
Mhm.
You know,
It's a
So-
timestamp.
So when it's a timestamp. So when you go back and look at it, it's just going to remind you of where you were at that time. And
2019.
You're
Hocked.
you're only 25.
Yeah.
Man, you have so many projects ahead of you. Yeah,
Thank
leave
you.
this
I'm so
one.
excited.
Leave it where it is and how it is, and
Right.
walk
And
away and do something different. I agree.
oh yeah, there's like 4 things that I still want to tweak that I even think are big things on Hocked. But
This-
at the same time, I'm just like, no, man, that's just, it is what it is, and I just don't want to George Lucas it, where all of a sudden there's,
Shots fired.
freaking tauntauns in the background, and you're like, "Ah!" It's just lame, man.
Right.
Just leave it as it is. Everyone loves the originals, and probably because he didn't really follow it up with anything fun. But I would like to, it's just a piece, and it was fun, and everything went into it. I would be reaching if I went to a sequel, because it'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, who's still alive? Okay, well, let's follow up on Steve and his ice cream shop. Like,
Right.
well, that's fun. Or Booger and wherever he ended up. Or,
Yeah, but we're not talking about a sequel. We're
No.
talking about an origin story.
See, I didn't even, that wasn't even on my radar. Initially, if someone says sequel, I'm just like, okay, well, in the future, where do we take it? But a lot of the good characters are dead, and
But I think it's only going to be beneficial for you and your creativity to develop a whole new set of characters. Don't
Yeah.
try to rely on the same old bag, right?
No way.
From Hawk.
Yeah, you don't
I
want
pulled
to
out-
pull
I
on
pulled
the
everything
success
out.
string too
Fresh
much.
ideas going forward.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
only going to help you grow, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I am.
Mhm.
But I did want to talk about the basement scene a little bit,
Yeah.
because it's so much fun.
Definitely.
And I know there was a scene where you were pushed to tears at the very end.
I couldn't believe I actually had. That's when I felt like an actor for the first
Really?
time. Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
wasn't
did so
trying
good.
for tears. I was just
It happened.
yeah, it just happened.
Yeah.
It really did. I was just feeling that moment and how, genuinely feeling as Lanny would.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, I feel a little
Little
I'm like,
tear
man, I
coming.
hope he got that.
And I think we were on the other angle. I think we were on Dave's angle
Yeah.
when that happened, because I combed
Well-
and I combed
well,
and I
here's-
combed, looking for that tear.
You did?
And
He
you
looks-
can tell
he
it's
looks
it's there.
Glassy.
Well,
eyed,
here's the
It's
yeah.
crazy-
about to break.
Here's the
you know?
crazy part. It's funny you say that. I swear to God, in the moment, I fought the tear.
Really?
I didn't nurture that tear. I really did. My instinct, like
to grow it.
my Rich's mind took
baby.
over. I'm like, well, what do you dial it back a little? What are you doing? You're not gonna cry right now. That's not in the script. I don't know.
Really?
Like, it was a weird
Get
part.
softer, Rich. Cry.
No, but then I'm also battling in my mind. Is no, I think we need a tear, and by then it was too late.
This
'Cause
is
I had
awesome.
already
I
like
love this.
my mind already fought it enough where it kind of
Yeah.
like just sucked it back in. But I know it actually went down to like the cheekbone. It didn't reach the flesh of the cheek, where it could have if I nurtured.
Interesting.
These are things you learn, Steve.
No, now I'm learning
Next
too.
movie, I'm
Thank
crying
God
like
we
a
did
baby.
Hocked Unloaded. This is great.
Yes. The next movie's just gonna be.
I'm gonna
Rich
write in a
sobbing.
scene of you sobbing for just like 10
it's weird
minutes.
where your mind goes when you're playing a character though.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like you fight with your actual mind, your present day.
There's a lot of grooves in there that you are who you are.
And then instantly I'm mad at myself.
Really?
I recognized it immediately, and like I said, by then it was too late. Like, why did I do that? Why did I creep back in?
Tell us about the mindset you get into. You're in this basement scene. Curtis is telling you all this fucked up shit that's terrifying, and then he pulls out this fucking blowtorch, and you're screaming for your life, right? How do you get to that mindset where you have to convince yourself that your life is genuinely in danger at this point?
You're really concerned about that blowtorch.
Right.
Yeah, and you were so convincing.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I felt the crutch for me, the thing that made it easy was that blindfold.
Really?
Because it was on for the majority of the scene, and that, creates terror in your mind. If you can't see, but you hear this crazy, by the way, shout out to Dave. Let's quickly talk about that. He wrote that whole chunk of dialogue,
He
right?
did.
Yeah.
On his own.
Sure did.
He's fucking terrifying.
That was such a creepy story, and I'm
Yeah.
listening with my blindfold on, and it was pretty easy to be terrified. So by the time he ripped it off, next thing I know, he's reaching for a blowtorch. I mean, I was in it. I was, weird, creepy goosebumps going on, and I was
real
I was
goosebumps.
terrified.
I do remember that.
But it was also very cold in your basement.
I was just going to say, well, not that it was cold, but I mean, that was a creepy basement as well. You want to talk about the backstory there? That's been around for a while, right?
Oh, gosh. I live in my great-grandpa's house, and he dug that basement, and it is petrifying. Yeah, that's what I live on top of every day.
Mm-hmm.
His house has got to be haunted.
I got the feeling that
be.
someone was buried underneath my feet while I was blindfolded there.
I'm not lying to you right now. I have seen bones, and I haven't asked too many questions.
There you go.
Well, you can't ask
I hope
Leonard
an
any
animal-
questions. Leonard's gone.
I really hope an animal drug those bones in there, but yeah. It's frightening.
So it was easy to get into that whole
It's spooky down there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Terrified vibe. Mm-hmm.
No, for real, Dave. So Dave came into his audition with a prepared monologue.
Yeah, and we talked about that in the last episode with
And
Jalen.
we were floored by that.
I
That's
bet.
when we were sold on Dave, and we're just
Yeah.
like, that's terrifying. And so I wasn't gonna do that flashback because I just wanted.
That's right.
I wanted, him to write something, and I wanted it to be terrifying and almost to recreate the feeling we had in his audition where we couldn't get away, and it would just be Dave, Curtis, smoking a cigarette and just staring into your soul.
Yeah.
And we ended up, putting everything in. But yeah, he wrote that entire backstory with very few tweaks because we told him, okay, there's a guy named Pops, because Jay and Rachel and I came up with the backstory for Jay, and we gave him just a few little points and just sort of let him explore because apparently he's got this side that he can tap into too, and
Yeah.
it's crazy that normal people can just do that.
Rich,
I
did
love
you know what
stones.
his monologue was going to be before you came in?
I'm trying to remember. I believe I had all that.
I think
in my
maybe you had
script.
gotten a rough
Well, because I was
copy of that.
I was getting all the updates, so
Yeah.
I knew like the day before I got the fresh update,
Yeah.
and he brought it to life though. I didn't get that creepy feeling reading it. Just like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's well written, but when he delivered it, and telling you, I was legit terrified. It was perfect.
Yeah. No,
and
it was
he
terrifying.
did a great job acting. No experience there from Dave.
Nothing.
No.
I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
Even with like my nonsense videos.
Yeah, I think
from
the only
before,
other videos he had been
he's
in yours
done
were
some
like
goofy
challenge
stuff.
videos.
Yeah,
like
him like eating a whole grapefruit or something.
Yeah, with the
silly
skin
like
on
that.
it.
Yeah, like just silly
I told
stuff.
him during filming many times that I was most impressed by his acting. Having scenes with him was really. I think that was actually our only scene together.
It's the only
Was it?
solo one.
Yeah.
the only
Right,
of just
right.
the two of you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Clay is usually there.
So I think a lot of factors allowed me to have a genuine
Response.
I guess I was going to say production, and I'm searching for the word, but what played out in the final take, I think, why it looked so genuine was the creepy dungeon, the blindfold, but not only what he wrote, but how he delivered his acting skills.
Oh,
Yeah.
He
It's
also
great.
doesn't smoke at
No.
all, and I think he's got asthma.
Get out of here.
He
Yeah,
just
we were all.
wrote that into it.
There's
What?
like
I would
no.
have never guessed that.
I mean, like Steve said, his great grandpa dug that basement himself. There's no ventilation in there. So me, you, Steve, and Dave, and I think Corey was there.
Yeah, my mom was there.
And we're all there. And Dave, at this point, is just fucking chain smoking because we're trying to keep this cigarette at like the same amount smoked.
And he's not
so he could like
choking on
flick
it
it
at
at you,
all.
and he fucking smoked like he had been a chain smoker his whole life. And there's no ventilation. And I think I remember being like, "Well, we've all got lung cancer, but we got one hell of a take."
Yep. Another method actor right there. That was impressive. Yeah. And I remember that day afterwards, that was like one of the few scenes where after shooting, we weren't lighthearted about it. We weren't joking around, laughing. I think we took a couple pictures for social media and we tried to put on a smile, but we were like just all quiet and walked out of that creepy basement and carried on with our day.
There was a lot of coughing because it's dusty and Dave was smoking.
We're throwing dirt at Rich.
Yeah. And it was cold though. I forgot about
You
that.
were shaking.
I was shaking.
You were shivering.
Because I was legit cold. Yeah.
Well, and we had this spray bottle, and we just kept spraying you down with water to make
So
you
I
look
was
like you
even
had been
colder,
sweating.
yeah.
I'm so glad you didn't get pneumonia.
I know.
I think that's one of my proudest scenes, though. Just I was really happy with how it all came in. Everything in the basement, because we got to control the lighting a little more, which was nice. Because in the pawn shop, you're stuck with the pawn shop lights, and you're stuck with the lights that we had to bring in, and we're just blasting it with light. Whereas that gave us a chance to actually be a little more creative. You know, we had the lights from the two windows coming in, but then we only had two other lights, and it was kind of like, okay, how are we going to put them in here to make it really look creepy and not, I don't know, we just got to actually use it. Yeah.
Like the edges of Rich and
we used
Dave.
Legitimate filming techniques to actually light that scene, and I think it shows. So.
It definitely shows. No, it really does. I remember having concerns. How are they going to do this right? It's going to be too dark. And in my mind, it was like the only way it's going to look right is if it is dark, but the only thing that's illuminated is each face.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Man, it looked amazing.
We film with Sony's, and they are just amazing in low light. Sony, please give us money. Buy our movie.
Shout out
We
Sony.
love their
Sony.
equipment. Sony.
We made an entire movie using your equipment.
That's right. Sure did.
Couldn't have done it with any other.
Could not have done it with
you're
a
amazing.
Canon. Panasonic.
Nikon.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to talk to is, I mean, how long did it take you to get out of Lanny? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd spend, I can't even imagine how long it took to get into that head, that headspace, but then how long does it take to get out?
Well, now I'm glad that I mentioned sort of that childhood trauma and my work with a therapist, because her, and I'll get to the answer. I know I keep kind of I'm all over the place, but her method in treating someone with PTSD is to not allow them to talk too much about the trauma. As soon as she notices that I'm getting emotional, she'll be like, "Oh, we got to pause," which can be frustrating at times, because you think of the old school therapist laying on a couch pouring your heart out.
Everything.
She's not like that. So she'll draw me right back in. And the reason being is because it's almost meditative. She wants to bring you back to present day. And I have to check in with the room. And we have to, she has to just let me know that it's like today, if I was having a session, it's February 7th, 2020.
That was a long time ago.
Exactly.
Right.
She wants to let me know that threat is no longer there anymore. And that's how I'm kind of rewiring my nervous system.
So that helps you every day then. If you're getting there yourself.
Is it
just
like a safety thing? You feel safe
It's
again?
a safety thing, because somewhere you're stuck in those old patterns, especially when you experience these things young. And that's kind of how you're wired and how your nervous system works. You think everything's a threat. And that's why if everything was going good in my life in my 20s and 30s before I knew what was going on, I would create the threat, because that's what I was used to. That's what I needed. So if I couldn't find the threat, I would self-implode and create it. So my whole point here is that I'm never really allowed to go there in my mind. She'll draw me right back. For this, I had to fight that and all the work that we were doing. And don't feel bad here. I know I can tell you're feeling bad. And I had to go there. I had to.
That's what I'm thinking.
I wanted
now,
to.
yeah.
That was my choice for the movie. And
what did your therapist think about that? If I can
Does she
ask.
know?
Jeez.
Does she hate us?
She's like, you
No.
went all this work.
No. She ultimately is happy for me because she knows I made this decision because I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
She's, and she would focus on the fact that I found something that I enjoy so much. But anyway, so during the time of shooting, I was sort of fighting that impulse.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to that place. I had to, and I admittedly didn't know the impact it was going to have on me. It did take me a while to sort of snap back.
Mm-hmm.
It took me the remainder of the day. It wasn't until the next day where I started doing those meditative techniques and realized the date. I couldn't even go there in my head to snap back right after shooting. So I'd get home, I would immediately take a really long shower, and I noticed some old tendencies coming back. I talked about before how I would zone out.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of like felt like, wow, I gave everything and I went back to that dark place. The aftermath was me trying to snap back and very unsuccessfully, and trying to be a dad and a husband. And Lisa knows all this, so she was very supportive. She just gave me space. She's like, I'm going to handle the kids tonight. Especially after that final scene, I was that one took everything out of me. I was a zombie. I was very, very tired, but yeah, couldn't go to bed. My mind was still active, and it took me a little while to snap back out of that for sure. Yeah. It was exhausting.
Boy,
Thanks
if
for all
anything,
your support,
I think,
Lisa. You're a
thanks,
wonderful
Lisa.
wife. We really appreciate
Couldn't have done
it.
this without her, and I've been preaching that for a lot of years now. She's talk
awesome.
about a lifesaver, even more so than my therapist, of course.
Also, she did our website, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, shout out Lisa.
Yeah, she's a big part of this production.
Boy, talk about just leaving everything out there, not holding back.
I think that's what you have to do if
I think
you want
you
to
do
be
too.
serious about acting, right?
Because I don't know if Hocked was going to go on any longer, I don't know if I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
Steve would have
For
developed a coke habit.
Or a coke habit. For real.
For sure.
It took everything I had to put it together.
Well,
and
kudos, you didn't go that route, my friend.
No, it would have been nice though. Some of those longer nights, just keep them into
I would
full
get
days.
I got lots of emails at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and then it would like the 7 a.m. ones would always end up being like, finally made it through for like rough cut 15.
So you
I
must
won't
have,
be in the office until like 1 in the afternoon. I was like, dude, just don't worry about it.
You must have had a serious concern that he wasn't developing a coke habit at that point.
Well, he's always like made jokes like, oh, if I could just get my hands on some coke, and you could tell he wasn't serious.
Yeah.
But like the closer we got to the premiere date, the more I was like, oh my god, Steve's gonna start doing coke. I mean, I can't imagine the amount of coffee he drank.
Yeah.
Just like pounding caffeine.
Well, that is a legitimate concern. I've heard of so many people in your position, and like any kind of artist, really, musicians, actors, but mainly someone who's going to be editing, producing in front of a computer all day long, or in a studio all day long, to reach a certain level. They talk about it. What else do? You can't sleep, because you can't sleep like a normal person, because guess what? You're not going to separate yourself from those normal people.
Yeah.
To reach a certain level of success, you kind of need something to help you along.
Well, I know.
You hear it all the time. You really do.
It's
Yeah.
a dangerous
On
game,
top of
but-
all that, like he has a girlfriend and a 2-year-old son, and so like there are
The
certain
real
chunks
star
in
of
the
the
day.
movie, by the way, Cooper.
I agree.
Yes,
Yeah.
certain chunks of the day he has to be like, okay, I'm a dedicated father for these 4 hours. Okay, I'm being a good boyfriend for the next 2 hours. All right, Sierra's asleep. It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm gonna do work for the next 8 hours.
It's my only window, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And nobody bugs you in the middle of the night. So.
yeah. And, during the day, like I'm here. If I'm not doing something for Hocked, I'm doing something for Single Six, and I'm texting him being like, have you heard from this client? What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? So he's getting a million text messages from me that are about everything Hocked and not Hocked.
They're basically like, Rachel, deal with it.
Yeah.
No, he never
We
even
have 48
replied.
hours before
He
the
never
premiere.
even
Deal with it.
responded.
Typical Steve
Yeah,
again.
well, I was probably sleeping.
It's inherited.
And I did not complain for the last month.
I never said you did.
The month before the premiere, I think I was pretty good about leaving you alone. And I'm the one that started calling and yelling at people right before the premiere.
It's true.
So,
I was wondering how you guys were going to pull this off, and throughout the process, how in fact you were doing it, because you guys have a business to run every day. But this appeared at least to sort of take over everything else, and not getting the financial benefits from it, at least not right off the bat. So, but you did have this deadline. You said I'm going to premiere it right in the beginning of the year, 2020, and you did it. But it had to have been a struggle trying to run a successful business at the same time.
Definitely, but I think the two could not have survived without
the other.
Because we wouldn't have been able to make the product that we did without, or we wouldn't have been able to create Hocked without everything we had from Single Six Media. Because whether it was connections that we had made through Single Six Media, for instance, Andrew and Brittany Enos, who played TFB and Beer Can Rob, we only met them because we did their wedding.
And then
a year prior.
Yeah, we did their wedding and then became like best friends with them.
Yeah, just by chance. And that's just one little thing. But also we would have had to have either purchased or rented all the video equipment, and we weren't in a position to do that without having the company, having all this equipment.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And we wouldn't have been able to, I don't know, Single Six I think has always been a vehicle kind of to get us to this point where we can express these other sides of ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Steve's aunt put it in a really good way a while back, is like the business itself, like we've got lots of video projects that we do that, I mean, we don't hate doing them.
No, we live
but
the
they're
dream.
not like our favorite
it's
project.
the hobby.
Sure.
It's a hobby every day.
Right.
But, there are certain things that we're like, okay, well, I can do that. That'll be something to learn from. It's not necessarily the most exciting thing or the thing we get the most joy out of, but then it provides for us to be able to do the things that we really get joy out of, and that's making Hocked. And so, we've got our bread and then we've got our butter type thing is how Jen put it, and there couldn't be a better way. But
there must have also been an ultimate understanding of, if I finish this movie and it's successful, or if it's a lot of people like it, I mean, what a big advertisement for Single Six.
Right.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have made a badass feature film.
Mm-hmm.
A feature film. That's the biggest thing that I
Right.
take away is, we could have made a short. We could have made anything. And I'm not...
No, we made a feature.
Yeah, I'm not degrading shorts
No,
or
everything
documentaries,
is a
anything,
lot of
but
work.
holy fuck.
Yeah.
Features are hard.
Yeah.
Well,
Take a lot of
and
work.
That
Steve-
should almost be on the business card.
right.
Holy fuck, features are hard.
No,
Steve-
creator of Hocked.
Steve
The
and I
amazing feature.
had talked before about, he came to me with the idea and was like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I might take time off to do it. And we've mentioned it before. And I think I remember being like, I couldn't, I felt like I couldn't
business
do
by
Single
myself.
Six by myself. And on top of that, I wanted to be a part of Hocked.
It forced you to be a better videographer.
Oh,
and that's
absolutely.
That's also how Hocked
It benefited
helped
Single Six.
Media
Yeah.
is, it grew the independence
Yeah.
of your independence
Yeah.
as a person and as a business owner. And then I could watch the entire movie. If I watched all the scenes in chronological order, how we shot them, I could tell you which ones, or you just give me a scene, I could tell you which one was from the beginning and which one was from the end, because I can't tell you how many times I was yelling at Rachel or being like, why are you giving me so much fucking headspace? Don't give me more headspace, And then it was like,
Josh
beautiful.
is so much taller than you.
I'm just saying, in the beginning you can tell, it's just like...
Yeah, it did. It
Was
made
that hard to give up control of that camera?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't want to be Steve Dirks.
I've
I
never-
didn't want to be in front of the
Because
camera
you're
at
in
all.
like the entire movie. So.
I've never
I know.
spent so much.
It's a bummer.
I had never spent so much time behind the camera until doing this, and I think that was a big reason that in the beginning I was really pushing Steve to find somebody else to do the camera
You interviewed
work.
multiple people.
Oh, is that right?
And
yeah, for a camera operator.
Wow.
just nobody was gonna be able to do it.
Just
pretty
seemed- it
much.
seemed
and
odd.
so I was
Wrong fit.
originally gonna read for TFB. Like I originally was like, because I knew the real life one, and I was like, I could nail this. I could do it. I was pretty confident in it, and then it was like, you can't be TFB because you have. If you're TFB, then who's gonna film? Pretty much. And so I was just. It was a lot
Steve's
of pressure.
response?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was a lot of pressure, but it did make me much better at my job.
Much better
So-
videographer, like you said.
Yeah.
It was.
This is trial by fire, big time for
Yeah.
everyone involved.
Yeah.
I don't think
So-
that
Which is a beauty of this.
Oh,
film,
yeah.
Fire will
right?
be a little less hot next time.
Yeah.
That's all I can
Yeah.
hope for.
I don't think that either one of us have ever worked so much in our entire life than we did in the last year.
Yeah.
And I would be willing to put money on the fact that there are not a lot of people our age that have put that much work into something in the last year.
I would agree.
What's my editing record? I forgot what it was.
27 hours straight.
Yeah.
He went 27
Deal with
hours
it.
straight working on Hocked.
I tried to
without
break
stopping.
it
No-
like,
no sleeping.
a couple nights
Wow.
later, and I couldn't
27,
do
huh?
it. Yeah, couldn't do it.
Straight.
Straight. Yeah.
I got emails like on the hour every
Without
hour.
the rocket fuel.
No rocket fuel, other than just
No illegal fuel.
No illegal fuel,
Wow.
just
That's
good old
amazing.
fashioned
Folgers.
Folgers. Yeah.
Well, that was another thing that I'm going to go back to my best friend Russ and I have always kind of had the pipe dream of not only acting, but of creating something behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we never wanted to be behind the camera, but we did have a bunch of ideas and we're like, no one's doing this. How cool would it be if we did this? But they were always pipe dreams. And he actually said to me after the movie, he's like, man, look at this kid. When we were his age, we were just talking about it. He actually fucking did it. He made a full-length movie. He's like, that's badass. It's exactly what he said to me. Just
Yeah.
So big props to you because it's so much work. There's such a big difference of talking about a cool idea and actually doing it, implementing.
It's interesting. Sometimes you just gotta get up and do it. And I don't know if I would have done it if Dave wouldn't have come into this office and told me that the pawn shop was gonna, be closing its doors.
Yeah.
Definitely lit a fire under
Right,
us.
yeah.
Mainly
Yeah.
Steve.
And did you feel like that was the universe's way of saying, it's now or never, bud?
Pretty much. I had bought. There's a book right over there, Shot in Montana by Brian there, and I had read that in the summer of 2018, and I was like, man, that's really cool. There's a lot of movies made in Montana,
Yeah.
and that kind of got me thinking, like, oh, maybe a movie could be made in Montana by me, maybe, right? There's a lot of like really little movies in there that you can tell just have no budget, and you're like, interesting. So it's just sort of this idea, and then I watched this video with Jonah Hill. And he was saying how he wrote his first script at like 21
Is that right?
or something like that. And I was like, fuck. I'm behind the ball here.
behind the
Yeah,
ball.
and that is the first thing. So I would credit those two things. Other than just, I like to make videos. I've always wanted to make videos and movies and everything. But those two little things were kind of like, I should do this now. And we were only like 7 pages in or something ridiculously small. I didn't tell anybody.
You hadn't even told
That's
me, and I'm
crazy
your
that-
fucking business partner.
Ultimately,
just-
that you pulled it off in that time frame when you
It's kind of
only
weird.
had 7 pages.
Yeah. No.
And
well, I'm lucky that
They were
I had.
frozen in what, 3 months?
Yeah.
That's crazy to think
Yeah.
about that.
But I had a lot to draw on, which is the only. I credit that to the reason that it got finished was because I had a lot of. Instantly, I could talk to anybody. Half the people I'm related to worked in that pawn shop.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm just drawing off of like real stories and drawing from real characters that I knew and.
Half the people that were part of
So I'm-
Hocked had worked in that pawn shop.
So I'm guessing you had more than 7 pages in your head.
Oh, yeah.
Just 7 pages on
Yeah.
paper, right?
Yeah, and I've said this at nauseum with people who've but anyway, I did want to create a YouTube series with all these odd things that had happened in my time at the pawn shop that you just wouldn't believe, right?
Yeah.
There's like, so people would come up to you, and in most days it was just normal, right, boring, but some days, like for instance, a guy came up to me and asked to see an SKS off the wall. I handed it to him, and he said to me, straight-faced, that he thought it would be good defense, home defense for dragons.
Oh, so that was...
That was real.
That was real.
And I
yeah.
laughed at him. He said, ha, 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 dragons, eh? Right?
Right.
And he was just like, oh, you haven't seen the documentary. And he had seen a mockumentary
Thought it was real.
and thought
No
it was
way.
real, that they had uncovered frozen dragons in like Nova Scotia or something.
Wow.
And he didn't catch the part at the end where they said it's not real. So he was under the impression that dragons were real, they were coming, and he had to have some sort of defense. And it was
Yeah.
an SKS with a bayonet on the
He
end.
was getting ready for the dragon apocalypse.
He was getting ready. So things like that I couldn't make up. And so
Yeah.
I just jotted them down in my notebook. And I had this, I had some notes on my phone, and there was like 15 just sentences. And another one was like Bob Losh, who is Beer Can
He's
Rob's
the real
the
life beer
inspiration.
can Bob.
And he makes a cameo in the film where he's talking about a serious time where he was eating mushrooms with his buddy.
That was the real bear can?
That's real
I
beer
didn't
can,
know that.
and that's a real story.
That's a real
Really?
story.
We were getting all sorts of stuff out of him, and it
Yeah.
was just all lame. And I was like, Bob, dude, just tell me a story about the old days. And I
Yeah.
know I had written down that thing about him eating mushrooms, and I was like, so all you got to do. he's not Beer Can Bob. He's just Bob, right?
Yeah.
But he had a friend named Beer Can Bob that he used to hang out with and
he
ride
would
trains
come into the
with.
shop and
So
tell
you had
stories
only
about him
heard
all the time.
stories
I heard
about
stories
the
of
actual
Beer
Beer
Can
Yeah,
Bob.
but we started calling Bob Losh Beer Can Bob because he would come in. He's the nicest guy ever, and he would be like, "Oh, I've got this cool Leatherman. You know, give me $9 for it, and I'm gonna go
He
get a
just needs some
40
beer."
of Steel Reserve
Yeah.
or something." You know, and then he'd go and rent some DVDs and then watch movies at home and drink his 40. And so we just started calling him Beer Can Bob. But yeah, so he had told Steve the story about the real Beer Can.
Him and Bob eating mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I remember that. I was like, just change Beer Can Bob to
Lanny.
Lanny. And just tell me a story. And he just did. And I just kept the camera rolling.
Yeah,
and I
me
had
and
to
Lanny
keep the
were-
whole thing in there because it was just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why things
time I saw
happened
Lanny.
so well for the movie, I think, is because
A lot of it was
a
real.
lot of it's just real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
know?
When
Yeah,
Steve asked me in my episode of the podcast about my pawn shop experience, and I brought up that I only started working at the pawn shop because Steve's best friend is Cam, who is my husband, and when I first moved here, I just wanted to make sure that Cam's best friend liked me because Cam made a
Sure.
big deal about the fact that they've been best buddies since kindergarten.
Yeah. That's a
And so
big like you need in your life.
yeah, and so he wanted to go back to film school or whatever, and so they were looking for somebody to work at the pawn shop, and I was like, yeah, I'll work. And the only thing I knew about the pawn shop before that is that Steve would come home from the shop every day. We'd all squeeze out onto our tiny little balcony at night and drink a bunch of Coors Light, and he would just tell us about all the crazy shit that happened that day.
Yeah.
Yep.
There it is.
So that's all I knew. And then I was like, yeah, I'll work at the pawn shop. So then a lot of the stories came in that were from me too. Like the TFB saying, "You killed my daughter, Steve." She told me I killed her daughter at one point.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't give her $20 for
She
a
was a
portable
nasty
DVD
person.
player.
Yeah.
Steve thought she was going to shoot her in real life one time in the Safeway parking lot.
Did she actually throw apple juice at the place? Is that?
No, I don't know
Real?
where the
Okay.
apple juice thing came from. I don't like apple juice. and
Was
I
there a
think-
moment you were thinking she was going to grab a gun from her vehicle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Multiple
yes.
times.
She would get to the point of anger where you were concerned that, behind a counter, I was very rarely concerned about anyone. There were definitely times where, people, they'd be tweakers and they'd come in and they'd have a dark mood and you're like, okay, keep an eye on them. But
Yep.
she was the only person that had gotten so upset to me. And I'm not much of a yeller. I don't know if you guys know that.
I picked
He's
up
not.
on that.
I don't yell.
I picked up on that.
I yelled at her.
broods quietly.
I've screamed at her, and like 2 people I ever had to tell to like get the fuck out of my store.
Yeah.
She was one of them, and she left, and she was rooting around in her car, and that was the only time that I felt like I was going to have to do something drastic. And luckily, she just got upset. She went and looked around in her car, and then she came in, and just told me something nasty, and then slammed the door and rushed off.
She was
So-
so different with everybody that worked at the pawn shop because she was really nice to Steve's mom, Corey. Like, she was super, super calm and like a normal person to her.
Until she wasn't, though.
Yeah.
So.
And then with me, she always had some type of attitude with me and just was always trying to give me garbage. And I just had zero patience for it. But with Steve, like, she just was obsessed with him. If she came in and it was just me working, she'd be like, "What time did Steve get in?" And I would just be a dick. And I would be like, "I'm not allowed to tell you that information. It's for his safety."
Was it like a trust thing? Like she felt like she trusted
There's a
you,
big
or-
thing with that with pawnbrokers is
yeah.
you have your flock and
Yeah.
they trust you, and
Yeah.
when there's
That's what I
turnover
mean.
at
But
the
there
pawn
was
shop, it's
always,
big time.
it always got to the point though where like every single regular that Steve had eventually was cool with like dealing with me, except her.
It takes a long time.
She never ever
Yeah.
wanted to deal with me, and I'm convinced it's because that she was in love with Steve. She was obsessed with him. Like, she never didn't talk about him every time she came in. And then I was like, "I'm not giving you money
I
for
get
your
it. I
portable
get it as
DVD
well.
player," and she told me I killed her daughter because of it. So I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
bye."
Crazy.
But-
Yeah, I had a very similar job in my younger years. I was a bondsman in the state of Connecticut. bail
What?
You know
bondsman.
what's
Yeah.
up, man.
I
Yeah.
could tell you some stories, man. There were some strange days on that job for sure.
I wish
especially-
I knew more about you. I would have asked you.
Rich,
for
we
more.
should make a movie about that.
Yeah. Oh man, I could tell you some real stories.
Well-
Especially at one point, for whatever reason, I hooked up with this other bondsman, who quickly lost his license because he was legit crazy and he had some crazy ideas. And as like a 20-year-old kid, I just went along with him on these rides, and come to find out, I'm pretty sure he went to jail for a long time shortly afterwards, last I heard, but he was just crazy and had these crazy ideas. His whole business model, he's like, let's take over this court. There's not a lot of bondsmen in it. I forget where it was. I'm trying to think. Somewhere in eastern Connecticut. Unknown court. Because that's the whole thing. It's very territorial in the bonds business. If there's a bondsman that's been there for a long time, he's going to know all the criminals, and you're not gonna get in there. And there was this sort of unknown court, and he goes, let's just listen to the cases, make notes, and if we think that they are trustworthy and they're going to pay us after the fact, let's just take them out. So we were writing people out we've never met before. They got out and they're like, who bonded me out? We did. Come with me for a sec. Let's take a walk. You owe us X amount of money, and if we don't get it by such and such, you're in a lot of trouble. And this guy's idea was to try to get some collateral from them. So these would be like if they walked out of there and in their possession in the court, they got signed back a big like piece of jewelry. We just snatch it. And then we'd come find him in the hood. Be like, yo, you want your chain back? We'd hang out. This is a little white boy from Cheshire, Connecticut, where there's no hood.
Cheshire.
No, but there's
sounds hard.
There's a lot of ghettos though in Connecticut.
Really?
In Connecticut, for sure.
I grew up in the ghetto.
New Haven, which I lived right outside of, whole nother story. But anyway, so we were just like walking up in the hood, and not only if we had the necklace then, if we saw someone who was on our list that owed us money and they had a necklace that day, give me that. It was just real.
You were Debo.
Shady.
You were Debo and Friday.
Oh, it was so weird. It was. The list goes on. I rode with bounty hunters. This is a kid who's never shot a gun before, but I'm along for the ride, and I can tell you a lot of stories. Yeah, so I know about it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So you haven't shot a gun before?
I have, but either 2 or 3 times in my life.
Okay.
At a shooting range.
So the scene on the rooftop, that was like untreaded waters for you, right?
Totally. Yeah. I'm not comfortable with a gun. I don't like guns. I'm a real oddball here in Montana.
Yeah. That's okay. It worked out great for the scene.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so Lanny Green
we used it
like
to our
either.
advantage.
I am not comfortable with a gun, so yeah, I think it showed, and like you said, I think it worked to everyone's advantage.
Yeah. I want to talk real briefly about that scene and just kind of, something happened on the top of the parking garage. Okay. You didn't have any idea that we were going to shoot the blank off.
Yeah, can we talk about this?
Let's talk.
This is all right. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's over.
Yeah, this is
ex post facto.
Yeah.
A story I've enjoyed telling other people after filming. A big takeaway for me because it was kind of crazy there.
It's nuts.
For a minute. I mean,
it's cold.
So yeah, we're at the top of the parking garage. I think is when Rachel got the call that in actuality we couldn't fire the gun. Right?
It was the first part of the day. We had filmed something, I think, because we were like, we got to go, and we started filming, and then you got a call from the officer.
That was supposed to be on scene.
Who was a volunteer, not an officer.
He wasn't like a legit cop. He was supposed to be on scene for the shooting of the blank.
Anytime there was a firearm.
He was going to be a supervisor?
Yeah,
in public.
Just to make sure nobody came up and shot us.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a typo on, because I had to file for 3 different permits for just that scene. And there was a typo between the city and the police department from their filing, right? Mm-hmm. And one said we had to be in the parking garage, like in the basement level, and the other one said on top of the parking garage, which is where it was supposed to be. So the city permit said on top of the parking garage. Somehow it got mixed up that the police thought it was in the basement.
So he's in the basement giving you a call, like, where are you?
Yeah. And so I was like, no, we're on top. And so he was like, no, you can't do it on top. That's what this permit says, blah, blah, blah. He didn't want to come up, and I told him, I was like, look, like, 2 out of the 3 permits says the top. Like, I have to do it with the top because we're filming in the city of Bozeman.
And you're trying to talk to me, and I'm running around. Cause I'm like in
Steve's
the zone,
already filming
stuff, and I'm starting to get irritated.
He's already filming.
Like,
I'm trying to tell him that we can't shoot this
Yeah.
blank, that we don't have permission to shoot the blank. All this stuff goes off. And Steve was like, it's fine. We'll just do it in post. Tell him to fuck off, right?
Tell him we're going to do it in post.
So And the minute he said, "Tell him we're gonna do it in post," I knew he was fucking lying to me.
Because you know him so
Because
well.
I know him so fucking well. He is the do it and ask for forgiveness person, and I am a ask for permission person.
Yep.
So I told the guy, I was like, all right, fine, we'll do it in post. We have to do everything else up here because this is what the other 2 permits say. The guy was like, all right, you're not going to have a firearm at all. I was like, nope, we're just going to CGI it in. And if you say that to anybody, they're going to fucking believe you.
CGI.
No questions asked. So I was like, it's all going to be done in post. It's CGI. We're just going to have people pointing fingers
It's gonna be
at
like
each
Avatar.
other.
I swear to God. Blue people.
We've got a green screen.
Yeah.
Dragonflies in the air.
We get everything filmed that we can until this last moment. And Steve starts telling people that aren't part of this last little scene,
They need to go
hey,
home.
you can get out of here. We'll call you tomorrow and we'll set up the next shooting schedule or whatever. And then Steve says to Rich,
Well, everyone's left at that point, and I think I was kind of alluding to you. I was trying to hint that we were gonna do something.
but you didn't think we
And
were.
I'm a little slow, so I didn't pick up on it. I didn't know any of this was
I was
going
moving
on.
real quick. I was just trying to get everything done, and I just kept saying, man, there's a lot of construction noises out here. It could get loud at any second. And then I'd just leave. And I thought I was trying to,
See,
lay
I
it
didn't
down.
hear it like that. Want me to just tell you my quick experience?
Yeah.
So all I knew was we at that point had already shot the speaking scenes between myself and
Clay.
Clay.
Yeah.
So the last thing that was left was shooting that
And you were excited.
blank. I was very excited, yeah. And all I knew was it was a go. I thought in the permit we had to shoot it on top of the parking garage. And I remember thinking at the time when we drove up there, I'm looking around at these hotels overlooking the
You
parking
got a
garage.
lot of eyes on us.
Yeah, I'm thinking, that's weird that they want us to shoot it on top. I mean, I guess it's great for us, but very strange.
Which I'm sure that's why the
Looked
police
beautiful.
department wanted us to do it
Yeah.
under, but...
I didn't know any of that. I think I was in the car with you when
Well,
you
I'm
got,
on the phone
yeah,
yelling
when
at
you
this
got
guy.
that call, and all I'm hearing is from Rachel is, "Are you kidding me? We're supposed to be shooting it at this time on top of the parking garage. Okay, let me talk to Steve. We'll see what's going to go on." And then I remember Steve saying exactly what you said. "Don't worry about it. We'll just get it in post." And I remember just being deflated. I'm like, I'm
man.
not going to get to
Yeah.
shoot it. I was really looking forward to it, especially someone who doesn't
Ever shoot
get to
guns.
shoot a gun. I know it's a blank, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, that's it. We're not going to be able to do it. And then all I remember you saying to me at the last second is, "Rich," because you were sending people home at this
Mm-hmm.
point, "Rich, you're going to come with me. We got to get a shot of some construction noises or something." So it all happened really quick. And I'm like, so am I shooting it or am I not? What's happening? Right until the last second, you're like, "Oh, you're shooting it, but it's got to be super quick."
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
put a
shoot that,
gun.
get in the fucking car, and we're out.
And the only other thing I remember right before that is Rachel saying, "Steve, I'm not getting arrested for this movie. Don't do it. Don't do it." And she's totally freaking out.
And that's
I'm
when I
on,
handed Lanny a gun.
And that's
said,
when you
"Shoot
handed me a
it."
gun. We did it. It had to be one take. Luckily, that one take looked amazing. I
Oh, you
thought.
nailed it.
And
God.
it was like, "All right, everyone get in the car. Let's get the hell out of here quick."
I don't think my
a
heart could have
getaway.
taken another take.
was
Like,
phenomenal.
I don't think I could have physically taken another
No,
take because
definitely
I
not.
am so paranoid about
You
everything.
were turning white.
Oh God, yeah. And I was doing audio, so I had the headphones on. I've got the boom mic pointed at you, and so for me, the gunshot was really loud. But for everybody else, it was like tink.
Except the guy who's never shot a gun. I was like, "Yeah!"
Yeah.
Blasting people up
And
there.
there really was construction going on, so I
There's lots of
doubt
construction.
anyone ever heard it.
We're all making. This is just a story. It's a
Allegedly.
silly story.
This is
But
all
the
alleged.
funniest part about this silly story is that we've built it up in our minds that it's just going to be this huge explosion.
Yeah.
And then the blank ended up being so weak that
Lackluster.
it barely. It was like. It was just.
So it didn't
dinky.
need to happen.
Didn't
at
even
all.
need to
Yeah.
really happen.
we had
But-
to boost it up in post anyway.
Oh yeah, I had
Yeah.
to put it in post. It was CG, but the reaction that it had
On Rich.
you and the adrenaline that I know was happening because we were
Yes.
doing something bad.
Yeah.
It all just really helped the scene.
That's a good
so
thing
you-
I stand by it.
It's a good
Yep.
thing you had an oddball who shouldn't be in Montana who's never fired a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out great.
Well, hey, we might have to have you back at some point, Rich, for the third time.
I would
Yeah.
love that.
But before we wrap up,
Good.
I do
Oh, yes.
have to ask. It's the age-old question: Booger versus the Bobcat. Who wins?
I mean, how do you ever pick any mere mortal, let alone Booger, to win that fight, right? I mean, it's got to be the Bobcat.
Yes!
Gotta be the Bobcat.
I mean, maybe unless what you see at the end of the film there is a little baby Bobcat.
It was a baby Bobcat.
Maybe you can cuddle him back to his mama.
To be fair,
You could.
the argument is about a full-grown bobcat.
Yes. It
It's
is.
just that the only thing we could
That's
No
all right.
weapons.
get
Sure.
to be genuinely like donated to us and still be safe for Josh was a baby
You should have
bobcat.
talked to me. I got a Bobcat guy.
We had a bobcat guy.
Really?
No.
Oh, shit, okay.
Not at all.
We
You need a
have-
Bobcat guy?
We have a legit bobcat guy. He's also got tigers, wolves, panthers.
Yeah.
We've got a guy.
You need a guy?
But
We got a guy.
for real life safety, we could not
Sure.
put Josh within that distance of a
He would've
grown
been killed.
bobcat. Yeah, so he had to deal with a baby.
Yeah.
And I still think the baby could have fucked him up.
Yeah, probably.
Agreed.
Yeah. Can't pick Booger.
Yeah, well, thanks for
That calls
talking
himself
Hocked.
Booger, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. He's not,
to
going to get in
quote
our way.
the movie again, but
Yeah.
man, this
They're
has
not
been a
gonna get in our
blast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
No.
Hey,
Thank
Rich.
you, Rich.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
thanks
love,
for...
we love everything about Lanny.
I feel
and
like I really shared today. I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
You did a great
Thank
job.
you for doing that. I
You
know
just-
that it was hard, and
You
boy.
continue to amaze us on
Oh,
screen
thank
and
you.
off screen.
Thank
So
you.
thanks
But
for
if
being
this
here.
could help, another actor, another filmmaker. That's why we're doing this.
Amen.
It's just to literally unload. I mean, that's the name, but like
I know we're wrapping up, but one other thing I want to say is
Yeah.
coming in as an inexperienced actor, kind of struggling, with having the confidence to pull it all off correctly. Now knowing Steve,
Oh boy.
at the time I did not, and I just, you want the director to kind of to guide you, and the way Steve is, he doesn't get super excited ever. So I
No,
always
he's
thought
very hard
that
to
was probably
read.
another reason why I wanted to do 1,000,000 takes, because I just never thought I was pleasing you. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
I
not what he
don't-
wants. So I would ask Steve, what do you think? And this is how you get Steve's approval if he likes it. Yeah, no, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'll go with that.
No, absolutely.
But
Try-
I'm always like, no, he didn't like it. He's not excited.
that's
Dude.
good to know. Actually, that's
Try
good to
being
know.
his business partner in everyday life when you're like, I don't know.
Well, you're the one who told me. Trust me, if Steve wanted you to do it again, you would know.
Yeah.
That
He,
is
he would
true.
tell you.
I will
I'm like, okay.
have you do it 1,000 times
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Right,
So
yeah.
if I'm shutting the fuck up, it means I probably like
But
it.
I kept second guessing myself. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Does he like me? I don't know.
That's
He
awesome.
he's not one to give a lot of verbal approval, but he will give you verbal disapproval.
Yeah, he's not going to let you walk away. if
doing a bad
you-
job.
Right.
Yeah, he will not let you give up. He will not let you stop until you do well.
I'm so ready for the next movie,
Me
bud.
too.
We're going to kill the next one.
Jazzed.
Now that we know each
There's
other.
some good repertoire here. I can't tell you. And I'm gonna give you, a script like the second I'm just like, yeah, I'm at the end, and it's gonna go to you, and I'm gonna give you a character, and I'm just gonna let you like just chew it,
Tweak
up.
it.
So,
I'm so excited right now. So excited.
All right, well, thanks for talking
Thank you.
Hocked, man.
Yes.
We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Well, that's it for this week. Let's talk Hocked next week on Hocked Unloaded. Next week, we're joined by Matt Jamison. He provides some comedic relief to the film with his role as the unpredictable pawnshop regular, Cowboy. Keep up to date on all the Hocked things that we're doing and where we're doing them by following us on all the major socials at Hocked the Movie.